Welcome everyone to the Chris Parrish podcast. My name is Chris Parrish. How is everyone doing? That is out of the way for you right now. We are here, episode 118. We are cursed. Yeah, obviously, this episode is brought and inspired by the WWE debut of Danhausen, but let's not mistake it. We are brought to you by the good old people over at Turnbuckle Studios and by the great partnership and the sponsor of the Chris Parrish podcast, Beercade YEG. If you want a chance to watch WrestleMania with me live in the Edmonton, Alberta area, please check out Beercade YEG located at 10544 118th Ave. That's right, Beercade YEG with a beautiful start time of 4 p.m. local time. You can watch both night 1 and night 2 live at Beercade YEG. And with Turnbuckle Studios, let's not forget turnbucklestudios.org, the homepage, the website, the beautiful way to be introduced to everything Turnbuckle Studios, turnbucklestudios.org. Now, the last time you saw me, I was watching Vengeance Day with a few buddies, and man, if you have not been watching NXT out as of late, you are missing out, because NXT Vengeance Day was absolutely amazing with 5 amazing matches. We started off absolutely white hot with a street fight between Jada Parker and Blake Monroe, and let me tell you something, these two absolutely went off and absolutely smashed it, only to be followed by Tony D'Angelo and Dion Lennox, who started off in the back lot, in the parking lot of the arena, only to bring it back in. And then once they brought it back in the ring, they absolutely took it to another level. And then we saw a brand new North American champion crowned as Tatum Paxley defeated Izzy Dane to become, in my eyes, I think she's the only second person ever in the women's division to hold both the North American and the NXT championship. And then we saw Lola Vice absolutely completely knocked out with a beautiful spinning back fist Kalani Jordan in an underground match, only to see Joe Hendry go and retain his NXT championship with a beautiful standing ovation to Ricky Saints. So an absolutely fantastic show. It really did bring back the energy, I thought, of what we all loved about NXT with the old PLEs. And I'm not going to say that it was a takeover, but I think NXT is really starting to piece it all back together, and they are definitely a brand you do not want to miss. Make sure you're checking NXT out every Tuesday. But I let everybody know this show is called We Are Cursed. Why? Because Danhausen is officially in the WWE. And not only did he come out to a very, I guess, what's the right word? Confusing debut. I guess a lot of people weren't sure if they liked him or didn't like him. He had a very hostile Chicago environment. There was some cheers, there's some boos. There might be some disappointment because it wasn't somebody larger. But what we've seen out of Danhausen on both Monday and on Friday was nothing but pure entertainment. He makes you laugh. He had his Demandhausens. He dropped it in the toilet, but still gave it to Adam Pearce, who he called Cold Steve Austin. But no matter what you thought of that debut, Joe thought it was mediocre at best. But what you saw from him on Monday and Friday was pure entertainment. And he's bringing you into he's bringing the Danhausen character into the WWE world. And let's be honest, the Danhausen character isn't going to be the one that gives you the 5-star technical classic matchups. But what he is going to do is bring you the same type of entertainment a Kit Wilson will give you, an R-Truth will give you, an Otis can give you. While at that same point, now we can start seeing Otis in more serious matches. Why? Because that entertainment side is going to be taken by someone else. He introduced the curse into the WWE, and the first person to get cursed was Dirty Dom Mysterio. And what happened later that night? Dirty Dom loses the Intercontinental Championship to Penta, who became a champion in WWE for the very first time. He's been in WWE now for just over a year. I believe it's now 13, going on 14 months, and he wins his first championship. Now, a lot of people can say that that was way too long, but now what we can say as a present day, Penta is the Intercontinental Champion in a fantastic match that was too. Danhausen then appears on SmackDown, wanting to see what Nick Aldis could offer him. And the one thing Nick Aldis was able to do is point him in the direction of a mentor, as Danhausen asked. And that is where The Miz comes in. And now The Miz didn't exactly want to take mentorship. Even though he wants to mentor the young upcoming talent, Danhausen, not that person. And because of that, he was cursed. And as Miz tries to shrug it off, you got Danhausen goes, and don't forget what happened to Dom on Monday. So there's a little bit of, at least Danhausen is being put in a position to succeed with WWE. Joe coming in saying, I feel that it shows a gimmick is great on the indie scene, but maybe it won't cut it for the upper tier, the best wrestling company out of the world. Just your opinion. Yeah, but they still hired him. And guess what? His t-shirt's #1 on their website because he's the most popular t-shirt in the company. So if the gimmick was only cut for the indie scene, well, it's working right now on Raw and SmackDown. I think when we go back to his debut, it was just, I think, because people were expecting Chris Jericho or they're expecting something else. And expectation is not the fault of the company. It's the fault of the fans. And I will die on that sword every single day, because it's not like the WWE once ever said, Chris Jericho's coming. It's not like they've ever said, oh, this person's coming. They just made it a mystery, just like they've done with the mystery masked man, who we now know was Seth Rollins. But the question is, in my eyes, where does Danhausen fit around WrestleMania? And I don't think he necessarily needs a match per se, but a segment. Maybe he's a host of WrestleMania, or maybe he's doing something from the entertainment side. Yeah, I mean, you can have that opinion, Joe, but historically, doesn't mean that everything is going to go the same way. I mean, history also shows that small guys don't really ever get over with the crowd, and then Daniel Bryan enters the conversation. But the only thing is, right now, that is what we're enjoying, is the right now. What does it make you feel? And I think right now, the WWE is making me feel great to be a wrestling fan, especially when I'm watching an absolute amazing show like Vengeance Day, or I'm gearing up to WrestleMania. That is getting clearer and clearer as we move on. We now have a brand new Intercontinental Champion, but just on Friday, Cody Rhodes became, for a third time, the undisputed champion as he defeated Drew McIntyre with a little bit of help from Jacob Fatu. But it looks like Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre might be heading towards WrestleMania for a one-on-one match. And if that's the case, I'm okay with it. But I really wouldn't be upset if they were added into the Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes for that championship, because even though Drew McIntyre lost, there's still that rematch. And let's face it, Jacob Fatu can go to Cody and say, the only reason why you're champion is because I didn't allow Drew McIntyre to bash her head over with that title. So there always can still be a weight involved. So it's why we have to watch the product. But I understand if they want to separate the four men and make two great matches out of it over one. But what we do know is that with those four men getting more identified with WrestleMania in some way, shape, or form, we now know Jade Cargill will defend her WWE Women's Championship against Rhea Ripley. And I think that match is absolutely going to tell us whether or not Jade Cargill is for real or is she for show. And that is, I think, going to be the good part about this. Rhea Ripley, by far, is the most popular women's superstar right now. And because of that, it is a great opportunity for Jade Cargill to really put herself into that upper tier of women in that division, which is so stacked with talent right now that it's going to be a great test. I think it's going to be a great match. Jade Cargill is going to have a challenge upon her. And now let's see if she's willing to meet expectations, surpass expectations, or even fall flat. I can't wait to see what she does. And this is all this build of Jade Cargill, whether it was her time in AEW that started really introducing her to wrestling, and then all of a sudden coming into WWE and starting kind of really putting it all together. And we can truly say there is a new sort of confidence with that performer. So let's see what she does at WrestleMania against most likely the standard of WWE in the women's division in Rhea Ripley. The only thing we don't have a sense of title matches is no U.S. title has a clear picture, nor do the tag team titles. We're starting to get a little bit of more information about the tag titles with new number one contenders. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair seem to be next in line over Nia Jax and Lash Legend for their women's tag team titles. And it looks like R-Truth and Damian Priest, who won a gauntlet tag match, are going to be next in line for an opportunity over the MFT's tag team titles. So whether or not this happens at WrestleMania or it's the startup to something, we gotta find out a little bit more. And then it looks more and more clear that on the Raw side, the Usos could be defending those tag team titles against Austin Theory and Logan Paul. It seems more clear that they're going to run those two in that babyface tag team role, which only leaves what does LA Knight and what does Seth Rollins do? And it's going to be very intriguing. I still think Braun Breaker's going to be back in time, and we can get Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. The big question is, what does LA Knight do? Another big question we have, Oba Femi. Oba Femi is one of the most dominant newcomers to hit the main roster in a while. And the big question, I guess, asks is, does he answer the Brock Lesnar open challenge or does he do something else? I think there's a lot of people wanting to see him and Brock Lesnar in maybe that quote-unquote passing of the torch match. I don't like necessarily the passing of the torch per se, but it's definitely the dawning of a new era of the big man in WWE. I think that's what we can expect. But I love the fact that this last week of WWE on Raw and SmackDown has given us such a clear picture of WrestleMania, and I can't be helped to say, as a wrestling fan, we just might be cursed with entertaining product with the WWE. It's not for everyone. You might like other things, but I enjoy it. And that's where we are right now. If there's one thing I do enjoy, it's some good entertainment. It's some good product. And that's why on Turnbuckle Studios, we make sure we give you everything we can on every day. That's right. Sunday all the way to Saturday, you can enjoy great content. So don't be misinformed. Check out this video and look at what you can see every day on Turnbuckle Studios.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. All times are in Eastern Time. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m., followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Tuesday brings you the flagship show Turnbuckle Talk at 8:05 p.m. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Thursday we go TNA as we brace for Impact at 9 p.m. On Fridays, join us for the SmackDown Security Detail at 8 p.m. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. On Sunday, be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. And later that night, we have the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day. And please visit turnbucklestudios.org.
That's right, everyone. The simplest way to check out all of the latest episodic shows is going to turnbucklestudios.org/shows, and you can just click whatever show you want to see, and it gives you a direct link to the latest episodic show. Now, obviously, the PLE Patrol isn't featured on there because that is just our weekly calendar, and the PLE Patrol is not a weekly show. So that is the only show that is not there, as well as any other watch alongs or watch parties that you do see, just like Vengeance Day watch party that I had last night. And I do want to give a little bit of a shout out to 4 people from that show. I think Tony D'Angelo, Dion Lennox, Blake Monroe, and Jada Parker all deserve a shout out. And that's not taking away the amazing match I thought Izzy Dane and Tatum Paxley had, because they absolutely rocked it. But I want to really highlight those 4 earlier, because Tony D'Angelo and Dion Lennox are going to be bona fide studs for the WWE in the future. It is crazy to think how good Tony D'Angelo has become ever since just really starting out when 2.0 started. He's really evolved since the family gimmick, our character in the family storyline. And now it just seemed like he is a standalone character now. And it's just been absolutely amazing. The aggression, the power, the just brute strength that he can put out. He's learned to really put it together. And I put that to the flip side on Dion Lennox. You can tell everything is coming together, and it's just a matter of time before he takes it to that next level. He has all the tools. He just really needs to kind of fine-tune everything, but he is on the cusp, and I can't wait to see what's next for Dion Lennox. I do think one of these men could very well be NXT champion this year, and I'd be very intrigued to see which one. And then when I go down to Jada Parker and Blake Monroe, who got a little bit of intrigue when she kind of said she didn't really feel rushed from leaving NXT. She doesn't feel like there needs to be a rush to get her on a main roster. She enjoys her time on NXT, and I think you've really been seeing kind of what that character has done. Going into this street fight with Jada Parker, you wondered if maybe the character was out of her elements, but she's very good at adjusting and really evolving, because it didn't seem that way at all. Looked very much in place, and now there seems to be a beautiful disaster kind of inside the character of Blake Monroe. And because of that, I think this just gives the character so much more variety. And you kind of look at it in the same way of it's kind of similar to what Tiffany Stratton is slowly doing as well, as she's now breaking away from her character and kind of evolving it as well. Blake Monroe is doing this in live time and still doing it. And because of that, it keeps the original character still fresh, but also gives it a dark side, which I think is just fantastic. And then Jada Parker, again, as when I say with Dion Lennox, someone who really is starting to piece it all together. And I think with the Tatum Paxley Izzy Dane match, there's been a huge story. It's been brewing all the way from last year. So you have every sense of emotion to understand why this present match is happening and all the things matter. With Jada Parker, it doesn't seem like she has that right story yet. All she's been in are stories to keep the intrigue alive. She needs to find that right person to really kind of take it to the next level. And I kind of think, in a weird way, Blake Monroe might be the perfect person to do that. So I don't think I would necessarily end what they have. I would maybe keep this going and have a bigger match at Stand and Deliver between the two. And I think Jada Parker and Blake Monroe, in my eyes, I don't think they're finished, nor do I think they should be finished, because there's something with Jada Parker. We just need to get it. And I think another big match with Blake Monroe, we could get that, because what a performance she had last night at Vengeance Day. The one thing I'm also very curious about, and if there's people in the chat that want to chime in, feel free. I'm very intrigued with how WWE is going to keep the momentum going. I say this because, yes, we can criticize Triple H for every 4 months saying it's a new era, but it really has felt like a completely different WWE in the last 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 months, opposed to what it was just before that for the last few years. It seems like the company and even the product that we watch on television has taken a complete turn to something else. And yes, there's still similarities with the product, but there's still a lot of fresh decisions, fresh ideas, fresh ways they're going about doing things. Like in just the last little while, we've seen Penta win the championship when it almost seemed like Dominic Mysterio was more married to that title than any female character on Raw. It almost seems very weird that like somebody like Kiana James, who I thought had an amazing performance inside the elimination chamber, was a surprise win in the triple threat match with Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair. And she now holds a pinfall victory over Charlotte Flair. And then you're seeing this uprising in the star power of Trick Williams and how just coming to the main roster and now being a SmackDown superstar, he is slowly becoming a player in the main event scene. He has almost leaped over the mid card and gone straight up into that main event scene, and it's been almost simple for him. He has the mic skills, he has the character, he has the charisma, and because of all that, he knows how to use it. And you can't help but understand just how valuable his time in NXT was, but also him becoming a TNA champion and really letting that side of the character grow. And I think it's crazy to see this development, but when we're also seeing in the same breath people like Goldberg, John Cena, AJ Styles all retire, and then you have talks of, oh, is Brock Lesnar next? Is Rey Mysterio down? How much longer does CM Punk have? Roman Reigns isn't there all the time. And then you're starting to maybe put in, oh, okay, Tommaso Ciampa left. Could Johnny Gargano do the same? Are we going to see kind of the changes with the old guard? into maybe the new guard. That's something that I'm very intrigued by, but is this sustainable for the company? And I think it's going to really tell on just how much this new generation and these new superstars really not only get over with the audience, but how they're perceived by the viewers. And I think this WrestleMania not only could be completely game changing for the company, but it's very important, I think, on the future of the business. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see somebody making their first appearance or second appearance beat somebody who's making their eighth or ninth. So if we're getting this almost cultural shift out of WrestleMania, I wouldn't be surprised, because I do think that could be the best thing for the WWE right now. And that's just giving everyone an opportunity to succeed. And I can't help but say, if you want an opportunity to succeed and be a part of the Turnbuckle Studios family, there's only one way to do that. And that is by going to turnbucklestudios.org/join. Now, you can come on and be on mic performer. You can be behind the scenes. You can help us with editing. There could be something else that you might be able to bring that we don't currently do, or just might be able to help us enhance what we already are doing. But your best tool is your initiation of drive. So if you feel comfortable wanting to help out Turnbuckle Studios, please go to turnbucklestudios.org/join. And if you want a little bit more, check this quick video out.
A Turnbuckle affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, video games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today, because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
One thing that really brought joy into my fandom this week while watching Raw and SmackDown was simply how important championships felt. Whether it was the World Heavyweight Championship that CM Punk holds, and we'll talk about that promo with Roman Reigns in just a little bit, whether it's the Intercontinental Championship, whether it's the Women's Championships, or even if it's the Undisputed Championships, Tag Championships, everything feels like they matter. And it's been a while that I felt every championship matters, but I do feel every championship matters once again. We know Carmelo Hayes has been absolutely busy, as always, defending that U.S. title almost every week. And I say almost because he didn't really get, he doesn't get any PLE matches almost a lot of the time in terms of the U.S. But we saw an opportunity against Dr. Wagner Jr. just on Friday, and these are the opportunities that really shape-shift just how good of a performer he is when he can go out against the ring over somebody from a AAA, have a great match. Nobody's really questioning who that person is while the match is going on, and they're just watching a great match. And because of that, it helps elevate Carmelo Hayes as a babyface champion. The running question now is, who is that guy who will eventually defeat Carmelo Hayes? And if you kind of run through the former champions, he took the title off Ilya Dragunov, who took it off Sami Zayn, who took it off Solo. So it's been a hot minute that we've seen a heel win that championship, and it's only a matter of time that a heel defeats Carmelo Hayes for that championship in my eyes, and that U.S. Open Challenge kind of stops. So it's going to be very intriguing to see kind of what goes on there. And now in a similar way, AJ Lee almost put the same, or almost played the same card as she put out an open challenge, almost like I don't want to call out anyone. I want to see who's calling me out. We all know she defeated Becky Lynch to become the brand new WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion. But we have a chance to see who she faces and who her first title defense as Intercontinental Champion is. So I think that's absolutely intriguing to see because it is brand new, but it's also an opportunity for somebody we haven't seen, whether it's Ivy Nile, whether it's Raquel Rodriguez, whether it's Asuka, Bayley, Lyra Valkyria, who will step up. And then we have the women's tag titles, and it's been very reassuring that like somebody like Charlotte Flair, who in the past has always been in the main event picture, always in the world title scene, for the better part of the last year has not been. And it's really refreshing, not only to the performer, but for the division as well. And I think the women's tag team division at any point could have a former champion be competing for those titles. I mean, Nia Jax currently holds the tag titles with Lash Legend. Nia Jax was a former world champion. So was Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. So was Asuka. So was Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. So, and then you had Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, like Roxanne Perez. Like, now both Roxanne and Raquel haven't been world champions with Raw and SmackDown. You can maybe make the case with NXT champions, but Liv Morgan has been a world champion. She's the first ever women's crown jewel champion. So there's something there. And then you can go to a Bayley Lyra. Bayley's been a world champion. So there's been a lot of high profile women stars that have gone after these tag titles as of late. And because of that, I thought really have helped shapeshift these women's tag titles into something a lot larger. And because of that, we're now reading rumors that this year at WrestleMania, we might see a record for the most amount of women's matches at a WrestleMania. I know the number floating around is up to 6. So it'll be very intriguing to see kind of what they are. Are they all going to be championship matches? Because when you really break it down, you have both single titles from each brand, whether it's the world or the women's world title and the women's intercontinental, the WWE women's title, along with the United States. There's 4. You have your tag team championships. That's 5. I mean, who's to say you're not going to get that blood feud or that non-title feud to make it a 6? So I think it's very easy that you can do that. And if we're seeing 6 women's matches at WrestleMania, the one thing I'll ask, I just hope every one of those championships are a part of that 6. To me, I said we're going to talk about that CM Punk Roman Reigns segment. Let's not wait. Let's jump right into it, because I mentioned blood feud. I mentioned really big kind of view. It is clear that Roman Reigns CM Punk is going to be your night 2 main event. In my eyes, that's just the main event of WrestleMania. People can have their opinions. For me, the final match of the card is it. And the final match of night 1 isn't the last match of WrestleMania, because then you still got the second night of WrestleMania. It's just the last match of the night, not the last match of the actual show. Nevertheless, CM Punk Roman Reigns, clear-cut last match of WrestleMania. That is not undisputed. Or that's not denied. It's not in question. I think I got it right the 3rd time. And the last 2 segments in the ring have shown you why. Now, I think it was by design that we're seeing one person get the up on the first promo, and then we have somebody else get it on the second. I think this is definitely a back and forth build, and it really feels like Austin and Rock from WrestleMania 17. It really kind of gives me that vibe. And if you want to make a Limp Bizkit My Way video on Roman Reigns and CM Punk, please, I think it'd be absolutely amazing. But they don't have to physically get involved until the very last Raw before WrestleMania. There is no reason why they need to. Both men have this ability to talk you into the game so well that physicality should only be on fight night. I don't think we've seen the best out of Roman Reigns. In fact, I don't even think we've seen the best out of CM Punk. But CM Punk did deliver that one blow at the end where he mentioned the father of Roman Reigns, who is sadly now deceased. And it has everyone talking. There could be people being, oh, did CM Punk turn heel because he talked about his father? No. CM Punk mentions he's in the head of Roman Reigns and then goes personal. Because if there's one thing that you can really evoke true emotion out of Roman Reigns to maybe where it gets him off his game just a little bit, you attack the family. You go the route of his bloodline. Now, I don't think anybody turned heel. I don't think anybody's going to turn heel in the lead up of this match. But what we are going to see is we're going to see both men show both babyface and heel tendencies towards each other. And it is very much going to be a who do you choose scenario. This is why both men are where they are and are considered two of the best in the business right now. And that's because they have the ability to talk, they have the ability to perform, but they also have this ability to tell the story the legendary way. How can you not? Both men have been under the learning tree, to say, of Paul Heyman. Both men are considered to be students of the game. Roman Reigns is born into this business. CM Punk is really just one of the best in this business. We have Universal Salem coming in saying Punk winning at Mania, Roman is leaving after Mania. I don't think Roman Reigns is going anywhere. I think Roman Reigns right now is just going to work more towards those Brock Lesnar and John Cena schedule because of his ability to command it, but also he gets opportunities in Hollywood. He is definitely asked to do more there as well. And he's at a point now in his career where it makes a lot of sense. He's following in the footsteps of Dwayne Johnson. And the beauty part about this is you just don't need guys there every week all the time. You need a couple, but you don't need everyone. And because of that, Roman always seems special. Everybody always comes unglued when he shows up. My only big thing is I just don't want to see them advertise Roman Reigns is back. He returns. But it was only like 2 weeks that he wasn't there. Like it's a little overdone in my eyes. CBS coming in saying Roman isn't going anywhere. I did hear he's got another movie in the works. I mean, yeah, from what I understand, he might be a part of the Fast 10 movie. From what I understand, there could be a lot of other opportunities out there for him. Beauty thing about Hollywood is you just never know until it's official. Kind of just like pro wrestling. But I wouldn't be surprised if Roman Reigns does win in this match. And the reason why is I don't think Roman Reigns needs a long title like reign this time around. He's not going to match his 1,316-day reign by any means. But I think Roman Reigns defeating CM Punk really tells you more of this story than anybody probably could. I mean, if CM Punk beats Roman, what does that do? That really takes the luster out of Roman Reigns. But if Roman defeats CM Punk, then at least CM Punk has a reason to either shift his focus, shift his viewpoint, or maybe he's a little bit more at peace knowing that people that he helped kind of bring in, or at least from a storyline help bring in, are now surpassing him or even at the level that he is still chasing. Because that, to me, that was one of the best lines of the whole promo, is CM Punk saying, the story here is you chase me. Now, maybe. I don't think CM Punk was who Roman was chasing. I do think The Rock really was, but it'll be very intriguing to see. And speaking of which, how crazy would it be if The Rock does show up at WrestleMania and help Roman win the championship? Now, I know a lot of people wouldn't like that, but it would definitely add a layer to this that we wouldn't be surprised to say. We all know that match is going to happen sooner or later, Roman versus Rock, so at least plant the seeds to it. I mean, it's a match I think we all do want to watch at some point. Universal's coming in saying after Mania, Roman's next show will be Money in the Bank in September. So yeah, he is leaving. When you say he's leaving, do you mean leaving the company or leaving for a bit and then returning? Just asking for clarification. But as you clarify that, I'm going to clarify this for you. Turnbucklestudios.org/shop is by far the simplest way to go and show support to every single show in the Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. So if you want to help rep and wear some of the clothes that have our logos, or you want to go and support through that way, please check out our shop. And if you're curious what's on it, check out this.
The Turnbuckle Studios store is open for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the merch and represent the best from the shows you watch on a weekly basis. Multiple styles to choose from with over 10 products available. Don't get left out and pick up all your favorites today. Find us at turnbucklestudios.org.
That's right. Our shop is fueled by Redbubble, but we love to just simplify where to find it. Turnbucklestudios.org/shop. That is where you can go if you want to help rep the shows of the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. It's not just like shirts. You can get hoodies, you can get hats, you can get pillowcases, iPhone covers. There's a plethora of stuff there. Definitely something to check out if you're interested, and we do appreciate it. The best part too about this whole thing, it doesn't cost you anything to leave a follow, to leave a subscribe, or hit a notification button. So if you're watching on any one of the platforms and you haven't done so yet, that is by far the best way to help out the channel. And if you want to check out all my socials, I put it right down below where you're looking at my link tree, and you can go and check out all one of my socials, whether it's my Facebook, my X account, my Kick. And remember, it's the Chris Parrish podcast on Kick, or my YouTube. Or if you want to check out the Chris Parrish podcast on Spotify, it is on Spotify. So if you want to go and rate the shows, that would be much appreciated. Or if you want to come say hi to me at Beercade YEG during WrestleMania, you can do that, because Beercade is an official sponsor of the Chris Parrish podcast. So if you're in the Edmonton area and you want to say hi, come check me out at Beercade during WrestleMania. There's going to be a lot of WrestleMania talk between now and then, as it should. WrestleMania 42 is lining up to be a very, very big show. Now, I know that there's a lot going on with the tickets, sales, and all that. All I can say is that if there's a deal out there and you've been looking at it, I hope you can score the best deal possible, because this just might be a blessing in disguise of WWE cutting down the prices just to get more tickets out there, because yes, they are insanely expensive. I will be the first person to say that. So with all these stuff, like all the slashing or all the decisions making after to push out more tickets, if you can find that great deal, all the power to you. But yeah, please enjoy it, whatever and however way you can. Just enjoy it, because that's really what matters. Other matches, though, that outside of the championships that are looking to be more locks, I do want to focus on the Jacob Fatu Drew McIntyre, because it doesn't seem like they're going to be added into the championship match. I do think there's a way it could be, but obviously Drew McIntyre was WWE Universal Champion for a short period of time, and it really seemed the reason why was to add the star power of Cody Rhodes to the Royal Rumble match, to the Elimination Chamber, and to the shows going on. But what I'm very intrigued with is what they do with Jacob Fatu, not just at WrestleMania, but post WrestleMania, because I think this guy could very well be a champion in WWE, and I wouldn't be upset if they just added these two men to the title and Jacob Fatu is the guy coming out as champion. I wouldn't hate that at all. Universal coming in saying they've announced there will be 14 matches in total. They announced many matches as well. Well, yeah, 14 I would consider as many matches. And it's going to be very intriguing to see what those are. I think we all know about 4 to 5 of them already. In some way, we're going to see Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre, whether it's in the title match or not. Let's say that it's not. Let's just say it's a standalone match. So that's 1. You got Orton and Rhodes, that's 2. Punk and Roman, that's 3. You got Liv and Stephanie Valkyria, that's 4. And then you also have Jade and Rhea. And then you also have the Brock Lesnar Open Challenge. So right now, we're almost halfway there. We got still just around 6 weeks left to go. I don't see why you cannot make this more clear in just a couple. So now I do want to let you know is just because you think you might know them, things could change. Yeah, they are not doing Jacob and Sammy at WrestleMania. They are just not. Like I'm Universal, I want to really I would second guess some of that. But nonetheless, we are very well almost at a halfway point of how many matches are at WrestleMania. So it's going to be great just to see where we're at this point next week. But what I'm curious at is the inspiration of the show, Danhausen. What is he going to do at WrestleMania? I can't wait and see. Who is he going to curse next week? Who is he going to curse at Raw? Who's he going to curse next week on SmackDown? That's going to be the thing. But as wrestling fans, we are cursed. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Next week, 119 of the Chris Parrish podcast does come out. And I can't wait for that one as well. Now, we're going to have a little bit of fun next week, so please don't want to miss this one. Next week, I'm going to spoil this. Shots fired. Why? Because we are going to divulge into the promos that we are seeing in WWE as of late. We are going to have a lot of fun with all that. But for now, this has been episode 118 of the Chris Parrish podcast. And I just want to say thank you for everyone who has joined, chimed in, and been active. Remember, all I ask is for you to be happy, be healthy, and be yourself. Because at the end of the day, you matter. Thank you very much. And I'll see you next week.
Rip through the clouds, faster, catch us from falling close to the ground. Paris